Some of these pieces of gear have saved me on a shoot before. They have meant the difference between a successful shoot and an unsuccessful shoot. These are key elements to my photography and filmmaking arsenal that I really couldn't be without at times. And what's best is they are cheap. Now, I mean cheap in filmmaking and photography terms. Obviously, they probably aren't cheap to everyday people. Some of them are less than £10. None of them are more than £100. Okay, one of them is more than £100, but I have provided a cheaper alternative to it. And that's a really good thing about the marketplace at the moment. There often are cheaper alternatives. Now, from my experience, cheaper alternatives don't often last as long, but you can get some brilliant bits of gear that will help you out in your photography and filmmaking for not much money at all. If you're new to this channel, my name's Rick. I'm a filmmaker and photographer, and I've provided links to all of these items in the description below. These are affiliate links, so I get a small kickback from anything you may buy, but that helps me to make future content for this channel, and your help is much appreciated. On that note, hi to all the new subscribers. I know a lot of you have joined me on this channel in the last couple of weeks. If you are new to this channel, I'd really appreciate the subscriptions because I'm really close to 1,000 now, and that is a lot quicker than I anticipated it to happen. So thank you very much. Let's get straight on to the bits of gear. So the first one is one a lot of you are familiar about, and it is a rocket blower. Now this essentially just blows bits of dust using this nozzle by squeezing it, and it is brilliant for cleaning lenses. In particular, it's really good for just blowing dust off your sensor in the camera. Quite often when you're out in the field, you might notice a sensor spot on your camera. You don't want to be cleaning your sensor when you're out and about. On that note, everyone should be cleaning their own sensor. You don't need to send your camera away to clean the sensor. It's really easy to do, and there's plenty of videos on the internet. I will link one up here. But yeah, just turn your camera upside down. Do you know what? I'll grab my camera. Yeah, all you do, turn your camera upside down, blow into it like that. It'll blow a lot of the dust off your sensor. Put your lens back on, and away you go. Now this product is about £17, but it is well worth it. It helps you keep your lenses clean, your sensor clean out in the field. Just chuck it in your bag, and it doubles up as a fantastic children's toy. My boys love it. It keeps going missing. On to the next one. So the next one is another really simple thing, and it is microfiber cloths. I have bought a whole stack of these, and they come in a whole range of lovely colours, and these have been an absolute lifesaver. I just stick a bunch of them in my bag, and whenever I'm out in wet conditions, these are so good for just drying moisture off your camera, wiping lenses down, wiping filters down. The amount of moisture these suck up is just unbelievable. I've managed to keep so much of my gear dry just wiping it down with these. You buy a multi-pack of them, like I say, stick them in your bag, and they're there when you need them. They really are a great bit of kit, and they're so cheap. They're like £6 for 10 of them. So add that to your basket, because when you're out in the rain, these things will really help. Okay, the next one is a miniature grey card. Now I use this specifically when I'm filmmaking, because auto white balance and raw in photography gives you so much room to play with. So you don't really have that when you are recording videos. So I often use this grey card to set my white balance if I'm in tricky lighting situations. Say I'm inside with tungsten lights, and it's a mixture of tungsten and daylight, and I'm using a light to light my subject as well. What you would do is take a white balance reading off the neutral grey, and all cameras are different, but you can often set a custom white balance using the Kelvin mode on your camera by pointing your camera at this grey card. Now what you need to do is make sure that this grey card is in the place where your subject is, so that it's the right light source hitting that, because you don't want to take the grey card reading where your camera is and then move your subject in front of a slightly different lighting source and have them then be the wrong color temperature. So yeah, that is like £6 again, just lives in my bag, and I forget it's there most of the time. So really useful little piece of kit. I mean, you could probably print one of these off, but just having this, it's robust, it clips onto something, I don't know what, I've lost that, but yeah, get yourself a grey card. Okay, the next piece of kit is slightly more expensive at around £40, and this is a Lastalite tri-grip reflector. There are cheaper ones available. They pretty much do the same job, but these are probably slightly less robust than these. I much prefer to use these. They've definitely got a bit more substance and structure to them. Now, these are great for bouncing light into subjects. There's different sides, different temperatures of light. You can reflect as a silver side and a gold side. I think this one's actually got more options. I think this one might have a white and a black as well, so you can use a negative fill with this one. But what they're also great for is if you are filming any subject outside on a bright sunny day and you've got horrible shadows cast on the face, you can just open up one of these and just get an assistant to hold it over them and almost shade them from the sun. And this is often a technique that's used that most people don't really notice. So you've got quite a bright background and the subject is then more evenly lit. It's a bit more complicated than that, but I'm not going to go into it here. But yeah, this is just a really handy thing. It just lives in my car most of the time, and it's definitely got me out of a couple of tricky situations. The one thing I would say is make sure you know how to put this away before you take it on a shoot with a client, because that could be a very embarrassing situation. And those of you who've used one of these before will know exactly what I mean. Okay, the next one, if you're particularly a beginner filmmaker, is these LED light panels. These are from Niwa, who are quite a cheap but good quality electrical brand. There's loads of other brands available in these kind of panels, but these are brilliant because they're bi-colour, so you can change the colour temperature of them. Not accurately, I might add, you've got to do it by eye. There's a yellow knob and a white knob, but they are battery powered or mains powered, and they are just so useful on shoots. They're relatively cheap as well for lights anyway. I mean, these are about £90 each, I think. So you can buy a few of them for less than you could buy like a decent quality aperture light. And if you are starting out, I'd recommend more lights rather than one really high quality light to start with. I think that'll just give you a more versatile setup. There is another option as well, which is a very similar looking thing, but this is an RGB light, so you can basically change it to be any color you want using a phone on the app. This is a very similar price, but it isn't as bright as the bi-color ones. Again, it just gives you a good option if you want to light a background in a different color. The sixth piece of gear, and the one that I've owned for the longest and is possibly the most used, is a multi-tool. Now, I've had this one, I was actually bought this one, it's a Leatherman one, for my 18th birthday, so I've had this a long time, and it still looks new. It's just so handy to have in my bag. The amount of times I need to take off tripod plates or L brackets, or if I'm rigging up my camera. I mean, a few weeks ago when I was in Scotland, my friend's camera got jammed onto the tripod, and it was only because I had this and the pliers and the other tools that it has that we were able to even get that camera free of the tripod. Now this particular one is quite expensive. I don't even think they make this exact one anymore, but the closest one to this is about 120, 130 pounds. Now there are a lot of cheaper ones available on Amazon that I have linked below. I think there's some available for about 20 or 30 pounds. And I'm sure in the majority of situations that will do you exactly as you need. Just chuck it in your bag and yeah, away you go. I can't vouch for the quality of the cheaper ones, but like I say, this one has lasted me over 20 years. So Leatherman, brilliant little bit of kit. If you're finding this useful, please give the video a like below and comment on any bits of gear that you think people might find useful that I've not mentioned. I think it's really good that we can share ideas and maybe suggest things that people haven't thought of below. But on with the list. The next one I've not got here because it's attached to my bag and it's too much of a faff to remove is a Peak Design clip, and it basically allows you, sits on your shoulder, and it allows you to connect your camera onto your shoulder and easily free it. And I was really skeptical about these at first. I was just like, how can that be comfortable? The weight of having a camera just sat there on your shoulder just can't be good at all. And I bought one and it sat in a drawer unused for years, and then I tried it and wow, I can't believe I'd not used it before. It just allows you really easy access to your camera at all times, and when you're a reactive outdoor shooter, whether a photographer or a filmmaker, you're constantly needing access to your camera to get shots. And I find having a strap really, really uncomfortable. I hate camera straps. I hate wearing camera straps. This just allows you to pull the camera off, get your shot, put it back on, and away you go. I mean, I've even worn it with a 70 to 200, and that's quite a lot of weight, and you just don't notice it's there most of the time. It's a brilliant bit of kit. I'd recommend this to anyone who spends any time in the outdoors with their camera. So I know I just said I hated camera straps, but the next one is a camera strap. It is the Peak Design Slide Light camera strap. And honestly, it is really good because you get these little, you get these little things, I don't know if you can see them, but these attach to the sides of your camera, and what it allows is you to really easily, he says, clip on and unclip this strap from your camera. And what this is great for is as an additional stabilization tool when you are filming. Now, there's lots of gear out there for doing this, there's gimbals and whatever else, but they're not necessarily all that practical. If you use the strap in conjunction with the camera, you can get so many more steady shots because you've got this additional point of contact with your body. There's lots of videos on YouTube about how you can do this, and this is it's the only time I ever use this strap, and for what it does, it's really good. You can use any strap to do this, but being able to take it off and on so quickly using the bits I've just shown you is really beneficial, because other straps can be so finicky to get on and off, and I really don't like having a strap on my camera most of the time. If you've ever got your camera on a tripod, you really shouldn't have the strap on. It's just another thing to catch the wind and make your camera wobble. So yeah, being able to detach from your tripod, absolute game changer. And the final bit of gear on the list is a mini desktop tripod from Smallrig. And this has been so valuable to me. I'm using it right now to film this. In a tight space, you don't necessarily want to be messing around with tripods. So I put my camera on this little tripod, which is why I can't show you now. And I just put it on my desk, and I just raise my desk slightly, and it just makes setting this up so much easier. Also, it's great for holding if you're ever kind of filming in a vlog style. I know a lot of YouTubers recommend these Gorilla Pods, which are great for holding and filming. I normally put a ball head on top of this. But the problem I have with these is I just don't trust them when I put them down on things. I think they're just a bit too flimsy, especially with the weight of a mirrorless camera and a G Master lens on them. This Smallrig one has been absolutely fantastic. It's easy to hold, to film yourself. It fits in a bag easily. It's just really handy. It lets you get very low angles at times as well, and standard tripods are quite difficult to get near to ground level. So yeah, Smallrig tripod, like with everything else, links in the description below. Now, if you're a photographer or filmmaker, you will know that the amount of gear you have can absolutely run away with you. But these 9 things I've just listed are absolutely key to me. And like I said before, I don't think I could now live without them. I think they're really key in making my life as a photographer and filmmaker a lot easier than it used to be. And that's why I'm so wholeheartedly recommending these to you guys. Hopefully you found this useful. That's it from me. I'll be back with another video, hopefully next week, if not the week after. Thank you very much again for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you that spends the time watching my videos. And until next time.